My greatest fear in retirement, and still is my greatest fear. And I've been retired for 4 years. Let's talk about it. So, a lot of folks that are contemplating retiring, but just continue to work, do so because of one of these reasons. And if you can relate to one of these reasons, let me know in the comments. Tell me about it. So, one of the first fears that they have is financial stability. Not enough money. I just don't have enough money to retire. Hear that all the time. A lot of people are like that, and I understand that. Health insurance. So, it might be you. If you have a serious health condition, or maybe one of your family members have a serious health condition, and you really depend on that company paid insurance, health insurance. Yeah, it's hard to get off it when you know that it's going to be even that much more expensive. So you continue to work, so you have health insurance and you're covered. Yep, I know a lot of people that are like that. A lot of people they fear the money wise, and so they'll continue to work so they get that bigger Social Security check. A lot of them will work to 70 because they figure if I go to 70, I'll get paid that much more. I don't know if that really works out if you retired at 62 and you make that much more money and then you retire at 70. Yeah, I don't know. I retired at 62. I took the money. And then there's the fear of your investment portfolio just not where you want it to be. So a lot of people last year, right, the market took a dump. Yeah, it took a dive. And now we're just coming back. Now we're just making back the money that we lost. Right? So we're not making any more money, we're just making it back. And so a lot of people want to work one more year, right? 2 more years to add to that investment portfolio so that we can be that much more comfortable in retirement. And then there's those people that they enjoyed work, you know, eat, sleep, work. They enjoy that. And what they fear most is that if they do stop working, they'll lose those social connections. And we know that once we retire, all those social connections, all those friends we thought we had, yeah, they go away. Why? Oh, because they're working and you're at home being retired. The two don't intermix. And also, those that eat, sleep, and work don't have nothing else. They fear that if they retire, their life will be boring because they don't have anything else. There's no other passions in their life. They don't have hobbies. And so they just continue to work. I guess that works for them. But my fear was something else, was something totally completely different, right? Um, if you allow me about 8 minutes, 8 minutes of your time, I want to tell you what my fear is. One, it might relate, right? You might have that same kind of fear, that same kind of question, that same kind of concern. And if you're already retired and you went through this and you could relate, let us know how you resolved it in the comments. So I know what you're thinking at first, right? Yeah, your fear must have been financial, right? Like everybody else, right? Everybody is either money wise or it's health wise. And that is true. That is true for a lot of folks. But, you know, a survey that was done by equity.com said these are the three top things that retirees consider as challenging. One is increased life expenses, right? Everything is getting more expensive. Um, our in 2024 we have to add in $200 more to our um, grocery bucket just to buy the same amount of food that we've always bought. And now that we put that $200 in there, it nothing like it's going to come out anymore, right? Out of that bucket, it's there. It's there forever. And when you're in a fixed income and you take money from one bucket and you put it in something else, there's something else that you're doing without. So that's always a problem. Insufficient savings, we know that, right? So if you don't save enough, it's going to be hard for you to retire, and or if you do retire, right, your lifestyle is a lot less than what you wanted it to be. And lastly, lack of a guaranteed income. When you lived paycheck to paycheck, you know, that was still okay because you could take on so much credit because every week, every other week, every month, you were getting paid and you could pay your bills and still live a good life, right? But once you retire, you don't have that. You don't have that no more. You don't have that steady paycheck. You might not have that bonus that you get at the end of the year. And if you were lucky enough, you don't get or you were getting stock options, and now you're not getting that at all. So, uh, the lack of a guaranteed income, and when that goes away, yeah, some people kind of fear that, those top three things. But my biggest fear in retirement was this: my home. And one of the questions that I had to answer, right? I had to answer was, hey, where am I going to live? Where am I going to live? So let me give you the backstory there. So I spent 23 years in the military uh, and retired. So everywhere I went to the military every 3 years, they moved you somewhere else. And we always lived well, when I was younger, I lived in the barracks. And then when you got married, you lived in government quarters. So we were never anywhere long enough to even purchase a home. And then when I retired and got out, I became a HR director working for various companies. And the pattern continued, right? We went from uh, rental house, moving from Maryland to upstate New York to down to Florida, and then finally to Texas, where it just it came an age where we said, you know what, uh, let's buy a house now. Everything was right. We had two kids, right, young adults, as well as my mother was living with us. So we bought a house and we kind of settled down. But you fast forward uh, 5 years from then, and the kids, they've grown up, grown out, they're starting their lives somewhere else. You know, Mom has gone home to be with the Lord because she's passed away. And then we find ourselves living all by ourselves. We're empty nesters, as they say. Um, so one of the questions that we had to answer when we decided to retire was, where are we going to live? Do we want to sell the house or sell the house and rent, or we want to keep the house and just live in it? That's a hard decision to make. And when you make those pros and cons, there are certain things that we kind of thought about. But if you relate to one of these, let me know in the comments. So if I sold the home, I would get the equity that's in the house, and there's some equity there, right? And that would go a long way to furnish uh, the rest of our lives, the rest of our retirement lives. So that would be nice. Reduce financial burdens. So you know, when you own a home, there's property taxes you got to pay, there's insurance you got to pay, there's hazardous waste stuff you have to pay. You got to keep a house cool. I got a 4,000 square foot house and there's only two people. All right, we don't even go upstairs no more. And so, I'm trying to keep the house cool or trying to keep the house warm in the winter time. Trying to keep the grass cut, keep the grass alive, watering everything, you name it. Everything with home ownership, there's a price to it. So if we sold, all of that will be on the backs of somebody else. Also, the financial burdens if something breaks down, which is my biggest fear. If something breaks down, we replaced the roof already. That cost me 13,000. Now, if the air conditioner breaks down, man, to replace one of those, and we have two, one for the up and one for the down, that costs a lot of money, right? To include anything else that breaks down in the house, right? Just normal wear and tear, keep things going. A lot of money. The other piece too is flexibility. So if we sold our home, you would have the flexibility to, if we wanted to move to another state, another country, anywhere, it'd be easy to do. At the end of our lease, we just give notice, clean the house, and move out, right? If you're in the home and you want to do that, well, takes a little more time because you got to sell your house. You want to make sure that you're in the right season for selling a house. And then what do? You wait around. You wait around until you're able to sell that house, and then there's just so much to it, right? So there's no simplicity when you own a home. Everything takes time. You don't have that flexibility. So simplicity. Uh, what you got to worry about when you're in the rental, and I don't mean a rental house. I mean the actual rental apartment. One thing you got to worry about is retirement, right? Which is what you want to do. So staying in the house, if you stayed in the house, right, rent versus mortgage, we can't find a a a rental place, 3 bedroom, to where we wouldn't pay more than what we're paying for our house. So it's cheaper if we stay in our house than going out and finding a rental apartment. Uh, if we stay in our house, we build more equity. And more equity is good. Although if I pass away, that's a good insurance for my wife. If we both pass away, then we leave it to our kids. And it's more comfortable. We know our neighbors, we know the area, we know the restaurants, the places to go buy food, and all that. Everything is just comfortable. We live right by a lake, right? When we want to get out, get the boat out and go to the lake and go fishing, we could do that. We have a garage, we can store it there, right? And then there's the legacy part of it, so that our kids in their adult life, when they lived at the house, it's someplace that they know. Every time they come back to, they have their rooms, right? So there's a legacy there. Our granddaughter was born here, and she was raised until 2 years old, and then they moved out. So this is a home that she knows, and so there's a legacy part to all of that. So as you can see, um, you know, there continues to be pros and cons on both sides, and we don't know. We kind of swing. One month we're like, man, we need to go ahead and sell a move, and then the next month we're like, no, you know what? It's so just comfortable living here. We don't want to go nowhere. So we continue to struggle with that. But for now, what we want to do, what we're planning to do, is just age in place, meaning we'll stay in the house, and we'll make modifications as we get a little older, and we need a little, or we need more stuff to keep us safe in this house. Oh, home ownership. Yep, never know. But if you have any suggestions what we could do, feel free to let us know. This is Chandler's Retirement Life saying, lights out.